This is good, doctor. That's beautiful.
You like that, David?
Yes, I did. I hate you, then I love you. It's amazing. So
It's
this
not true about everything
this
in
couple
life.
is interesting.
Start from your wife.
Huh?
I mean, it's so true about
Yeah.
almost everything in life, not about only love. You can say it's about
Exactly.
every spouse, you know, what your wife feel about you and what you feel about your wife. And it goes up to money. You know,
Exactly.
without money, you cannot do anything. But with the money, you also get other troubles and forever. And all of that, this is really, you can look at it as a love story also between a person and a money in life too. This song has really affected me big time. I think it's a beautiful song, by the way. I think they are one of the most gorgeous musicians that I've ever heard. I had the privilege to see her singing also in Las Vegas a few
In
times.
the US. Wow.
Yeah, I think she's down now. She was for a while. And
She's done.
but I think this is really teaching a lot about, you know, what life could be. And I like to keep the I love you more than I hate you. And we want the world to be just I love you. That's the way I keep to myself. But life make you many times to see things in different ways. And the topic of today, if you really, you know, I taught so many times microfinance, microcredit and finance, and many times I use the title emerging markets. Well, it's really where it started. I was debating with myself if I want to say microfinance for high tech. And in a minute, I will explain why I was thinking. But first of all, I want to talk about it's what is known in economics, the poverty trap. How a poor person can get out of his poorness. That's a very hard question. Please do go feel free to talk about it. Go ahead, guys. Anybody jump. Also the young kids, you can go ahead and talk about it. How a poor person have nothing in his life. And you know, being poor, it's in a lot of sense. It's not just money. It's also the way you think. You think like a poor. And when you think like a poor, even money won't help you. How many times we spend so much money on projects? You guys know it's, you know, you're working with it for many years. Many times even money doesn't help to help the poor. It's much beyond than just a lack of money. Usually you will see a chart like this, you know, and I took it really, you know, you see this cycle of poverty. You know, you're poor, you don't have education. You don't have education means you don't have a job. If you don't have a job, then you struggle. You struggle, you're in chain. You're, you know, you feel like you're in jail, you're closed, you can't move. Then you get married because everybody, or at least you get a baby. A lot of people know how to do it without getting married, okay? And then you're stuck with how to raise that baby because you barely know how to find money to eat for yourself. And now you have to raise another child, and what's going to happen with that child? The cycle goes over and over and over and over. How do you break that chain? How do you break this cycle? That's anybody. Let's talk about the individual. Later on, I will talk about the state or the city, the government, the country has a meaning, and a solution must come out. We have no choice. We have to solve it. We have to break this cycle, not only in talks, to do something. We have to do something, and whoever can do something must do something. because it's good for everybody. And the key point is the solution should be in such a way that it's a win-win-win. Otherwise, it's not going to work. If you remember, David, you said it, I think, very strongly. If you even help students to get money to study, he eventually should pay for it. Remember, David?
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
Yes, I do.
But how would you get somebody out of this cycle?
This is a generational poverty cycle.
Exactly. You know, a person who is poor, he can't get education. All what he knows is poorness. He can't even think about something else. Nobody takes him to a job. You know, he's struggling, he can't get a job. Then he's chained, he's like closed. This is it. Okay? Then he has a baby, and the baby goes all over and over. Next generation to another generation. And you know, look at Uganda. Uganda is an excellent example. More than 50% of the people are less than 19 years old. So how are we making sure that those children don't fall into this trap? And even if they are in, how do we get them out in a smart way? What do you think? Daniel, I want to ask you, Daniel, as a young guy.
Are you asking how do we break?
I just asked him a question, he disappeared. What do you think, Michael?
I personally,
Yes.
breaking out of this cycle, according to my own knowledge, it starts with one creating a goal, a specific goal, and then drafting a plan on how to reach that goal. So according to the cycle I'm seeing right now, one is able to remain in poverty because they are disadvantaged in education, and then they end up struggling. So about the goal, in the end of the day, like someone has to be able to have finances to be able to grow. And the education enables one later on. Let's say somebody is going to study to be a lawyer or something like that. Like that skill will enable you to put food on the table and also bring in money to invest. So there are several ways one can get money. It could be through education. Even though someone is not able to acquire the formal education, I believe that they can struggle and find a way of like teaching themselves a certain skill, let's say photography, videography, and they're able to do it at the highest level they can, because at the end of the day, one will be able to pay you according to the quality skills you're able to deliver. So I conclude on it by saying a goal, and someone has to be good at a certain skill and be able to invest that money in other ventures that will be able to earn them more, something like that.
Good. David, go ahead. David, you have a lot to say, I know.
No, look, this is another topic which is interesting. But according to me, generational poverty, because this is generational, cyclic poverty, this one, from birth to birth, then you have died to death. From cradle to grave, you are poor. For me, education on education, someone must realize the situation. I've seen so many people in Uganda who were born from very poor families, came from very poor backgrounds, and decided to hate that situation. This is a decision issue. If you want to jump out of this cycle, you must decide to hate poverty. And if you decide to hate poverty, you start the gears of doing anything to get out of it. So the mindset change, the thinking process, the doing process, everything must work together. And you start deciding to do something that will give you money. And people have made it. I've seen people who have come from poor, but today they own high-rise buildings in Kampala or elsewhere. So I think the whole thing also plays out from the mind. What is the mind? There are those who have decided to be comfortable with poverty, but someone must hate poverty to get out of poverty, because we all know the consequences of poverty. So to me, it is a decision issue. You must take a decision. You must hate poverty and decide to hit the road to get out of it, because nobody will get you out, get you in this situation. It is your head and your decision to take you out of it.
I can't agree less. And moreover, even if I pour a lot of money on you, doesn't mean you're going to succeed.
Yes.
It's only the money, bit of mind. Daniel, please, go ahead. You have a lot of experience, Daniel. Microphone, Daniel, only.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it me? I think there are two Daniels on the platform. Nevertheless, I'll continue with the conversation. Either way, I partially agree with David, what he's saying, but it's not just a matter of deciding whether to be poor or to be less. But I think some people don't even know that they are actually poor. That's where the education comes.
Very true.
Yeah, people are there, but they are very comfortable.
Now, in love with the poverty. I love you and I hate you. They love the poverty, and when it doesn't work good for them, they hate it. And
Exactly.
they're in love with it. You're right.
I think the issue of education here is very important, whether formal or informal. There are people who are into formal schools, but they are being educated in their own way, either by doing or by seeing what other people are doing.
Experience.
They pick up from that. And it's also true that so many educated people who are poor. They put on nice ties, they put on good shoes, but they are going home hungry, despite going to best schools and that kind of stuff.
It's a decision.
The issue of education is really important, whether formal or informal, and the opportunities which come your way. For instance, the exposure I'm getting here, not many will have it. So, but it matters what I do with the knowledge you are going to give me. Forward to this very important lecture, because I don't think I'm there yet. It's not. I decided not to be poor, but I don't think I'm rich anymore yet. So, Doctor, you are in for a rough time this evening. So many questions. Thank you.
Anyone else? So can I summarize? Tell me if you agree with me. Education, it's a must, but it's not enough.
That's true.
It is true.
Maybe education or exposure, whatever you call it, is exposure a part of education in your context?
I think, you know, education is it's a big topic, okay? I think it's a must, not only for getting a job, we talk about that because we want them to get a job, because without a job, there's no food on the table. But education is much more. You see, I started the lecture with a song. Is that education? Yes, it is part of education. Can a poor person enjoy a concert? I'm not sure. He might enjoy certain type of music, which is fine, which is good, which it should be that way, but can he enjoy culture or different culture? It's much beyond, you know, and I'm saying education, it's a must, but it's not enough. And education has to be very broad. And that's why it's so expensive, by the way. When you send your child to a private school in America, it costs you $50,000, $60,000 a year. You know? And because they're getting, and a lot, usually undergraduate in America, in a good school, they don't teach you professional, they teach you culture. A lot of it, writing, reading, traveling to another countries, learn about another cultures, learn about everything. And then eventually you go to get a master, then you start getting a professional. So a lot of lawyers who get a law degree, that's for them like a second degree, not like a first degree. So a culture or education is a much, much broader concept. But I would like to start with something that can give a spark. Let's look at that from anybody. Before I continue, would like to add to the issue before I move to the other one? Charles, anybody?
I think I want to believe that education is important, but I want to say that ability to continue learning is also very important, because when somebody finishes, graduates, and he thinks he has finished everything, and he doesn't want to continue learning new things, then that is a problem. So even when you are educated and you want to learn new things, then you'll not be able to build a business, you'll not be able to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship entails learning new things, especially in the business world. Thank you.
That's true. You're breaking, Charles.
Yeah, it's a network problem, but that's what I wanted to present. I hope you heard me.
Yes.
Yes, we know.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. All right, I would like to move in the more global one. What does it do to the country? What does it do, the whole things? And then we try to focus on solving it. And what I think many countries do a mistake, and even in microfinance on all those beautiful programs by themselves, the cycle is also in the country level. You know, we have a country with low income. A country with low income, it's low level of education and healthcare. Healthcare is no less important than education.
So I did
We
that.
have less healthcare and education. That means people have low income, low human capital. That means those people are useless in the workplace. How many times you get an employee is useless? Sometimes I get an employee, I said, you should pay me to hire you instead of the other way around, okay? They are really useless. Unfortunately, a lot of them tend to be very ill, okay? So what does it mean when I don't really have good employees? That means we have a very low productivity. We all know that. I'm not gonna focus too much on it because I think every one of you knowing it, so I just go over that quickly. I would like to focus on the solutions. So we have workforce, low productivity. Low productivity, it means nobody's gonna invest. You know, you're coming to a place in which the productivity is so low, you say, I'm not going to get a good return on my money. Nobody's going to put it there. Then the country is still poor. No income, no investment coming from outside. Here we go. You look at that for the global, you know. If I have low productivity, low income, then the country has a very little growth. The growth is very little, poor investment in infrastructure. This is mean the road system, education system, everything system, and goes around and around. Who is going to invest in that country? You know, you burn once, forget about this country. Never invested in it. Okay, or you think about it in a different way. Then the country is not going. Not going, it means you're going back. You know, I said to many people, if somebody says, I am in the same place, meaning I didn't make a progress, I told him, if you didn't make a progress, that means you went backward because the time have passed and everybody went forward, so you are behind. And that's really what's happening. You can go, but if you're not going enough, you're staying behind. You have to go somewhere. Otherwise, you're staying behind. And staying behind is going backward. And that's what's really happening to a lot of low-income countries. So this cycle, okay, all this cycle, it's really happening not only in the individual level, it's also as a country. You know, I mentioned even informally about Uganda investing in building cars. And you know the fact, as I know, that building a car in Uganda takes 6 months, while in China it takes 6 hours, okay? And then you say, which investor is going to invest in Uganda instead of going to China? You know, that's productivity. You know, if I'm putting my money and I get only the car once every 6 months, I'm losing money. Now, how we break it? How can we break it? And what's the, that's what my case for today. I believe there is a solution, and a very good one, especially for countries like Uganda, okay? And I'm focusing a lot of Uganda. Let me just say one thing about here. I'm not gonna spend too much time, so we don't repeat ourselves, but this is, I just took, look at the date. The date is, let me make a click. Here is for you, Michael. Michael, you had Michael,
Yes.
you had a problem of making a link. When you click, you will go to another place.
Yes.
If that for you, for one, you should learn the other ones. Okay? So here we go. I think it's from these, this is really supposed to be, they're talking about poverty and all of that, but I'm not going to go over it. You know all of that. I just really wanted just to emphasize on, I'm going to focus on solutions. Look at that, low-income countries, 70% are really not going to even have a school, basic school. 70% is a decline, And then they're talking about all the reasons that you all know them. I don't really even have to go over them. Going over them, it's just making you bored, okay? I'm not gonna make any things new to go over all of that. You know it. There's nothing new. Nutrition, distance to school, they don't go, nutrition, health, attitude, all of that, we know all of that. Nothing new that I'm going. But it's really good to, at least once at a time, to get a blink. There is a map here showing you where is really East Africa, Mid-East Africa. It's right here. But okay, what's new? I didn't say anything's new. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to go over it. I'll give you, you have a link, you can go over it yourself. I want to go ahead and jump right to what I think the solution. We did talk about poverty, education, illness, vulnerability, and then people talk about microfinance. And I have taught microfinance for so many years. And everybody think microfinance, first I should say, is really useful, very good idea in many things. But people, when they talk about microfinance, they are designed to make you self-employed. And when you are self-employed, you can get a business. And when you get a business, you make money, then you can advance. And then you have a better life, and then you get out of poverty. That's most of the time what microfinance is, injecting money to qualified people so they can develop a business. And by developing a business, they are self-employed, then they're getting out of this cycle. And usually the successful one, most of the time, even paying back the loan. Okay, and there's many excellent, in fact, Uganda have done a good job, I know, in many places. And that's get you out of poverty. That's the classical microfinance happen. And then I want to ask you a question. I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna pose a question. No, I don't want to do that. Hold a second. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Look at this picture. There's two pictures really here. Look at the left one and look at the right one. You come a person from the left one and ask for a loan. And a person come from the right side and ask for a loan. Who are you going to give him a loan? And what should you teach your children? To be on the left side or on the right side?
On the right, of course.
Oh. So, David, honestly, 90% when you hear a lecture about microfinance, you see the picture on the left side. Am I right or no?
You are right. It's for the low-income earners who take few shillings from this thing.
Yeah, but then listen, the world have changed. When you're teaching them and they are successful. Let's say this lady, this nice lady is very successful. She's paying the microfinance. What are you really doing? You're keeping her in the same place. Her daughter will do the same. She says, oh yeah, I have enough income. How can she move from the left side to the right side?
Ah,
She's not aware that she's
You
poor.
didn't think about the question, David. Is that right?
listen,
He
the left
doesn't know
side,
That's a tricky one. Am I right?
it's a tricky one because this is a different balance sheet. This is a totally different balance sheet.
Hold on, David.
she's
Which
okay.
place you want your son to be, on the left or on the right?
My son, now,
I'm talking
left,
about your
right,
son.
depending.
No, I'm talking about your son, David.
Mine should be on the IT side, the other side.
Oh,
To me, it is
oh.
the right side.
You want them on the right side.
Yes.
So now you have all your people living in Lira. What do you want Lira to look like? The left side or the right side?
Look, I know the right side is good, but it takes some time to reach there. This is a big transition.
What do you mean time? How much is a long time?
A long time in terms of everybody appreciating technology. A long time in
Give
everybody
me years.
appreciating.
Give me a number.
Huh?
Give me a number.
Come again?
Give me
For
a
the
number.
time?
How many years?
10.
10 years. Michael, you agree with him?
Because we, Uganda, I think these
Michael
pictures.
is from Uganda, David. Michael lives in Kampala. Michael, you agree with him?
These two pictures are miles ahead. They are two different balance sheets. Yeah.
David, we don't see your face because of your hand. It's on the camera. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Michael, talk to David.
Pictures.
How long do you think it should take?
This is a massive leap, man.
Not more than 5 years.
Okay, so we have a disagreement on 5 years. 5 up to 5, and David says 10 years. I'll be honest with you.
Minimum.
Both of you are wrong. It will take 20 to 30 years. If we go in this way of thinking, honestly, it will take at least 30 years. But if we think differently, and you are the decision maker, take the initiativity, we might be successful in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, for someone like you, Michael, very motivated, that's what David and Daniel and everybody agree, and Charles and Mangasa and everybody agree. If you have a state of mind, you can do it in a year. If you are motivated, which is a must, honestly, I don't see a reason why you cannot jump from here to here if you have the power, the desire, the determination. In a year, you are in the right side. But we know life. Life is very complex. And honestly, 10 years, I sign up, David. I'll be very happy if we move from the left to the right in 10 years. Because life is not that simple. Not everyone has that determination. Not many people even have the understanding or recognition of that move from the left side to the right side. We talked about it. Poverty is not just money. Poverty is the way we think. Somebody say, okay, I went and I did that work and I did a good money. He opened the shop, he's happy, he's stuck. His daughter, you're going to his daughter or his son and say, yeah, why don't you go and study computers? He said, no, I don't know. I don't really know. Nobody is studying here. And here I'm making good money. I'm going, drinking, having fun. And go get him out of this way of thinking. It's extremely hard. Extremely hard.
Yeah.
You have to show him example. If he doesn't see an example, he can't copy, he cannot imitate, he has to duplicate. Many times you see a son study was his father studying. We see it all over the places. Okay, why? Because that's what he knows. Now we need to take somebody that his father was a tailor and telling him, I'm going to teach you biology, use computer, high tech, and study biology and chemistry. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's the challenge. Now, why is it really burning challenge? Because when you move from the left side to the right side, you can sell yourself. If you are expert in Python, hey, it's a question I asked Daniel. He asked nicely yesterday. He had the exam. He answered very nicely what Python is. Python is a language of programming. He can sell his knowledge to the whole world. He is not bounded to Uganda only. He can sell over the internet his knowledge. And instead of making $2 or $3 or $10 an hour, he can make even $100 an hour. Because now the internet exposed him. But so moving from here to here, it's really a huge jump in the global economy we're living in.
Yeah.
It's much beyond than just making more money. It's making a lot more money. Moreover, and that's the key point, to invest in someone to learn high tech, it's not much more expensive than teaching someone how to sew and manage a business. Managing a business, it's one skill. And knowing how to do something, it's another topic. So even if I'm a tailor or I am weaving or I'm selling banana or whatever I'm doing or having a store, I need to know how to manage a business. If I have a high-tech company, the management, it's quite similar. It's just different product. Okay? So the skills of entrepreneurship has to be acquired by those two types of people. So the difference between the two becomes to be how fast I can teach somebody to study Python and then maybe another things, or teaching them the conventional thing that we always. In fact, in my opinion, that's what I am arguing, microfinance in the long run and the typical structure might be hurting the country and not helping the country. It's keeping the country to do the same things that their value goes down over the years. You know, let me tell you something about agriculture. I don't know if you maybe know. In America, there is 2 states, Ohio and Michigan. Now, big states. There is a research showing that those 2 states alone can feed the whole world. They're growing enough food, corn, wheat, whatever you want, you can feed the whole world. You don't need anything to be grown in Africa. What will you do if the prices of agriculture will go so low? Those people don't have anything to eat. Even if they are very successful, they're working very hard. So it's clear that we want them to go to the right side for many, many reasons. See, medicine became to be, you know, the population is growing. People don't want to die, which makes sense. Is that right? Nobody wants to die. So you will always go to the hospital. You always will go and ask for treatment. The stuff we do over the internet, production, people talking about automation of cars. They have a car that drive by itself. We need to know. Those cars coming to Uganda, we need to be able to maintain them. We need people to be able to give services. So you get a wonderful cars in Uganda and nobody knows how to treat them because they are all computerized. Basically, a new car, it's a battery and a computer. That's 90% of automated car. So we can't really be on the left side. We have no choice. We have to move to the right side. Now the question is, Mangasa, I think you said it, okay? How do we finance the right side to bring entrepreneur on the right side? What do you think? Anybody? Give an idea. Mangas, I think you raised that in the very beginning. You said we need to give them money. Those, okay, let's say we decided we want to do that the right side. How do we do it? Where do we get the money from? And you remember once I showed you my website, how much I pay for Academy City website, remember? And you remember the numbers you guys said? 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000, I don't even remember.
30, yours is 30.
You remember that?
$24.
And then I showed you it was less than $30.
Yes.
Now the key point is, how do we go about making Uganda a high-tech with as little as possible money and adapt David, what he emphasized, and I like and I agree with him, whoever acquire the knowledge should pay for it eventually. We're not giving free lunch, no free lunch. Free lunch
No.
bring poverty. Literally bring poverty. Free lunch bring poverty. You know, I'm not talking, God forbid, for someone sick, cannot walk, cannot do something, then you have to help him. You have to give him a free lunch. I'm not talking about that. And there, it's our obligation as a society, okay? I'm talking about people, you know, they can sit, walk, study, do things. Free lunch is bad, literally very bad. It's a prescription for poverty. So we have, but on the other hand, I'm going to ask a question and I'm coming back to that. And let's see if you can solve, I'm coming back to that one as well. I'm going to ask a question. This is a good question, real question, especially in Uganda. You know, when I heard that question, I was in a seminar about microfinance, and the guy was talking about it, and he had some solution. I won't get into that, and then I gave him my solution. But I would like to hear, I'm just going to hide the solution. This is the question, so you can think about it, okay? How to make a crop insurance when you are poor? Let me explain the question. You know, you're raising corn. Let's say you have 100 acres. If it's not raining enough, you are busted. You can't pay back even whatever money you put in. You have nothing. But if you are successful, you'll have money and you'll be happy. This guy is so poor, all what he has, just enough or to plant or to eat. And now he's scared of hell to plant whatever he has. So what should he do? He wants to buy insurance. Which kind of insurance he's looking for? He said, if it's not going to rain, I would like the insurance company to pay me something. I will eat. If there is rain, I cannot claim anything against the insurance company. Okay? But he doesn't have money to buy the insurance. By the way, a state of Wisconsin in the United States, okay, you can buy insurance. You can buy insurance. If there is rain, the insurance company don't give you anything. But if there is not enough rain and your crop got destroyed and you don't have enough, they will pay you for the insurance. How would you do it with a poor that doesn't have money to buy the insurance? Everybody with me on the question? It's a little sophisticated question. You know, most of the agricultural people in Uganda, they don't have insurance.
No, they don't.
No one. In Wisconsin, it's a state right above Chicago, you know, Illinois, above that, it's a big state, raising a lot of stuff. And you can buy insurance. If there is not enough rain, the insurance company pays them. If there is enough rain, then the insurance just kept the premium, and that's the end of it. But if you are poor, you can't buy even insurance. That's why you don't have any insurance in Uganda. That's why I want to make an insurance company like that for the poor. What's the biggest problem? They don't have money to pay the insurance. What do you say? That's a very hard question. Can we make a crop insurance in Uganda? That's a really tough one.
Crop.
Crop insurance?
Yeah. I think I made a little.
I think we are still struggling to understand insurance itself. You know,
Okay,
in
so
the
let
other
me go over
aspects.
it. Yes.
No,
You know, Charles,
Charles was spot
people
on.
always think I'm in a,
no.
people always hear me talk about technology. They don't
I'm being
remember
factual.
that I'm an economist, in fact. I'm
No,
a
it's
chief
factual.
economist.
That's why.
So now I'm talking economics, I'm getting everybody confused.
No, doctor.
Let me go back to that.
Doc.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, Charles should have finished his submission because I had a similar thinking, but let Charles conclude. He said, we are still struggling to understand insurance itself.
What is insurance?
Now,
And
What
Charles,
is
it.
Charles, can you submit?
Here, David, I have a chance
You know,
to be much more
insurance.
advanced later on. Okay? Why I don't see you guys? What happened to your pictures? Did you? Wait a second.
Who?
I'd like to see.
Before my pictures are jumping.
Yeah, here we go. Let me explain what insurance means. By the way, this is the whiteboard we developed in Academy City. Take my word for me, David. 2 years from now, everybody will talk about it. It's still primitive. And take my word for me,
It is.
if Michael and Brenda and those guys will continue at the same speed as they're studying now, they will get to the sky with this. Let me explain with the tool we developed, what is insurance? In a simple word, what is insurance? You know, you're putting the seed in the ground, you're fertilizing, you're doing everything, and now you're praying to God, please have a rain. If there is no rain, it's gone. Let's say you don't have irrigation. You don't have money for irrigation. And we know a lot of people don't have irrigation in Uganda. Okay? They cannot afford it. They should, but they don't. So let's say 50% chance there will be rain. 50% chance it will not rain, and you lose everything you invested. So you might lose 10,000 if it's not raining, but if it's raining and you have a good crop, you're going to make 20,000. So far, so good. Everybody with me? Mangasa? Think about it as a farmer. You're investing 10,000. You know, you're buying seed, you're planting, you're hiring people. Well, let's say just for the example, cost you 10,000 to do it.
You share.
Okay, that's the cost.
Nobody could get to it.
If there is no rain, what's going to happen? You lost 10,000. All right, David?
Yeah.
On the other hand, if it's raining, you make 20,000 because then you have a good crop, you collect it, you sell it, you make money. Now, what is your fear as an agriculture person? There won't be rain. There's no rain, you're really busted. You're in a big trouble. So you depend on forces of God. Will be rain, I'm happy. If there is no rain, I'm poor. Not only poor, I owe also 10,000. But what do you like to do? You say, well, I'm scared. You buy insurance. You say, I want insurance against weather. There is such a thing in America. They say, I want, if there is no rain, the insurance company will give me 20,000, or at least give me 10,000. So I'm going
Or
to,
if there is too much rain and everything is destroyed,
sorry?
or if there is too much rain and everything is destroyed, then the
Everything
insurance
is,
company
yeah, just
pays.
for the simple example, exactly. If everything destroyed, you lost 10,000. So you go to the insurance company and said, can you give me insurance? If everything goes bad, you give me 10,000 to the insurance company. So now the insurance, why the insurance company will do it, you should pay a premium. Is that right?
Exactly.
So the insurance company will say, okay, I will give you insurance. If there will not be rain, everything will get destroyed. We know that. And if it's everything is bad, we'll give you 10,000. But then the insurance company said, you have to pay me for that. They say, you should pay me 5,000. By the way, why 5,000? If you have a chance 50% there will not be rain, that means the company will lose, the insurance company, half of the time, there's a chance they will have to pay 10,000. So usually I won't get into that. That's a different course, but they will charge you $5,000. The poor person doesn't have $5,000. So what's happening to poor people? 50% chance they might have good life, 50% chance they are terrible situation. So how is going to pay this 5,000? He doesn't have 5,000. I want to help him. I'm a microfinance now. This guy is afraid. He can't plant. He's afraid to plant. Because if he's planting and there is no rain, he's out of the business. He's scared. And I want to encourage agriculture. So how can I give him insurance? That's a very big question. That's finance. That's economics. This is a way of thinking. We need to break the way we think. Why we need to break the way we think? Because most of economists will tell you, yeah, if the person doesn't have money to buy the insurance, it's a job, he shouldn't be in the business. But I claim it's a wrong way of thinking. You should be much more innovative. How about I give you an idea and tell me if you will make insurance, I'm opening an insurance company. Every farmer can come to me, I will sign for him an insurance and he will walk out without paying even a penny. Is that doable? It sounds crazy, yeah? He doesn't have to pay a penny before he's planting. How can we do it? That's pretty challenging, isn't it?
It is.
That's what I told you, David. I love computers, but I love economics even more.
Yeah.
Here you have to get out of the box of the way of thinking. Can you make insurance, give insurance to someone, and he doesn't have to pay anything when he gets insurance? Every farmer will take it.
But is it practical?
It's not practical. Insurance company, if there is no rain, the insurance company is going to lose 10,000 on every farmer. That's crazy. So what the farmer, where the insurance company will get the money to pay them?
That's it.
So that's
that
why
one
it's
is not
not
working.
practical. But we want to turn it to be practical. You're absolutely right. If the only things we do, we just give them insurance, and everybody, if it's a bad time, okay, then the insurance company will lose 10,000 on every farmer. That's totally unpractical.
That's crazy.
How do we turn it to be practical?
Look, crop insurance. What is involved in the crop as a plant, as agriculture, is too risky. For example, in Uganda, I don't see how, unless there's a, because remember, 60% of all our farmers is subsistence. And subsistence, you're talking about food security bracket. People are just trying subsistence to have food. Now, we need, this works out when people are having large farms. You're talking about, square kilometers of fruit, maybe pineapple,
Yeah.
of what. That is, you could even be sure of the yields, then you can insure. But
Yeah.
many of our people, it's subsistence, it's survival, it's a
I agree.
food security issue.
You're
So there's
absolutely
no way
But
any
how do you
person will
break
come
it,
into this
David?
business.
So I give you a hint. Okay.
How do you break it?
Here, David. When you are in
Huh?
financially in trouble and your son say, Daddy, buy me a car. You say to him, go away. Is that right? If you are in trouble, you say, please go away. I don't have time to talk to you. But if you make a lot of money, okay, for some reason, and your son come and say, Daddy, buy me a new car. What do you say? Of course, I will go with you. Which one do you want? Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
That's life. When you have money, it's easier to give it. When you don't have money, you can't give it because you don't.
You can't give what you don't have.
When the farmer has money in this situation,
when the farmer has money.
Yeah, when? He has two situations. If it's not raining, he has no money.
Period.
If it's raining, he has money. So can we do a deal with him? I give you insurance. If this is happen, I will give you 10,000. But if this is happen, you pay me 10,000.
Yeah. But how do you go to green? How do you get the money? I think the whole issue is we need to think about how do we upgrade.
This is, I have another slide. What is money? When I make you insurance, we don't need any money. If I am an insurance company, I only sign a piece of paper. Is that right? There is no money changing hand. You got it? That's a very sophisticated solution. See, a person, when it's raining, it's really kind of, I'm saying to him, listen, if it will be raining, you're making 20,000. Is that right? I'm going to take half. I'm going to take 10,000. He said, okay. Because he have another 10,000 to have a living. Is that right? So this is a good time to take money out of him. But he's extremely happy because what's going to happen in the end of the day? It doesn't matter if it's rain or not, he's going to have 10,000 in his pocket. You got it?
Yeah.
That's a very tricky one. That's need courage. I mean, this is need a lot of way of thinking and courage. You know what happened, David? If you want to lose a friend, what do you do?
If you want to lose a friend, you give him money.
You give him money, exactly. You will never come back.
Of course.
That's the best way to lose a
friend. Some friends, but others.
You give him money, then you don't see him anymore. So, but this guy, I give him a promise. The only problem with this model, we have to ensure that if there is a good weather, okay, we don't care. He can be lazy. I don't give a damn. If I have a measure that there was enough rain in the country, and if you planted, you should have had 20,000. So I don't give a damn. I'm going to send the police to get 10,000 from you. So that's the way the insurance, by the way, for the last several years works in many countries in the world. You buy insurance without paying, and they measure how much rain was in the country. If the measure of the rain was above a certain amount in your district, you must pay 10,000. If the measure of the rain was too low, then the insurance company paid 10,000. Now, if you go to the bank now and talk to them, David, they will think that you are crazy. If you go and show it to a banker, we can do it, they will think you are crazy.
Of course.
If you tell them it's already happening in other countries, oh, let's study it. This is something we need to study and try to do. Moreover, when you write a good plan, you can even get a good insurance company from another country. They understand business. That's a big, big, big jump for agriculture in Uganda. But that's required courage, understanding, being smart, okay, and learn the country very well. It's just one example. This is what I call advanced microfinance. It's not a regular microfinance. What do you say, Mangasa? Or you are?
Yes, but okay, doctor, but the initial cost, I'm getting the concept that at a good harvest, the farmer will pay some money to the insurance company. And then at a poor harvest or a loss, the insurance company compensates the farmer.
Exactly.
But the insurance company may need some initial deposit.
They don't. This insurance company is a special one.
Okay.
They don't ask for anything.
All right.
I ignore that, you know, they have to make some money. So I put it aside, okay? Okay, you're right. It will not be exactly 10,000, 10,000. It will be 9,000 versus 10,000. Okay, something like that. So the insurance company can make some profit. Okay, but the truth of the matter, think about it. The insurance company really don't getting any money out of their pocket. It's washed because some district will have rain, some district will not have rain. So they will get the money from one district and pay it to the other district. And insurance companies are specializing on statistics. Why do you need machine learning and statistics and all this computerized system? Is to learn the weather, learn the probability, and all of that. And then you can really calculate the right way how much should be the amount. But the concept first. First, you have to understand the concept. Later on, you get into the detail to make it really working so the insurance company will make money as well. But the reason I gave this example is because usually when you take a class in microfinance, as I said before, they're always focusing on teaching you how to be a tailor, how to be a small farmer. Those days are over. We have to get out of the...
Yeah.
You know, my class, as David said, 10 years. I wish in 10 years we'll be out of it. We have to move from the left to the right in many ways.
Yeah.
In many, many ways. This is just one example. That's why I put it in the bottom as one line and I wrote the solution, okay? So you have to have a measure like how much rain was in the country. By the way, in Wisconsin, they do it. If we have time, I will more than happy to talk. Maybe even I will make another lecture. In Chicago Board of Trade, you trade on crop, different types of crop. There are so many financial instruments, okay? I don't know if they are in Uganda, but I will check. Okay, I'm expert on that field, okay? On how you trade merchandise, especially crop, soybean, corn, and all of those stuff. How do you price those options? But that's a whole different topic. This is just one implications to microfinance. Let me go up. And I wanted to ask you now, moving to this, I want to show you this picture, which I took, and look at the date. This picture was taken December 4, 2020. And let's say I bring some investor from New York. I bring him to this meeting. What do you think? Just looking at the picture, will he invest or not? What do you think? Just looking at the picture.
But yeah, you will invest. Look.
Everything looks perfect. By the way, if you click here, that's what Michael should study. He opened a new floor there, and that's what I took it from. Okay? Combating money laundering and counterfeiting terrorism financing. Which authority it is? Financial Intelligence Authority. My God, Intelligence Authority. And it should be the best. Am I right, Mangasa?
It should be the best, yes.
It should be the best. That's really why I took the picture. Here's the picture. See, you read all that stuff, and here's the picture. You see why I took the picture? And this is a new picture they put on their website, December 4, 2020. It was just a week or two ago. I assure you nobody will invest looking at it. Nobody will invest. Nobody will put money. Just looking at this picture. But what's wrong with the picture? Nothing wrong. So why somebody will not invest? It's amazing, isn't it? You know, those people in New York walking in the Wall Street are extremely smart people.
For sure.
They look at everything before they put their money in. When they look at this one, they said, okay, first of all, what is this? What is on the left side?
Flip chart.
It's like a chart, is that right?
Yeah.
I think my grandmother used to use it. Not in December 2020.
That is true.
10 years ago.
This person looking for people to be innovative, to use the top technology in the world. They're not going to put their money on something that belongs to my grandmother. This is nothing new. Okay, this is okay, no problem. Look at the computers. Look at what people look at the computers. This is dark. This has nothing. Those people are not curious.
Not in use.
Am I right, David?
Yeah, look. Where is this picture? This boardroom is where?
Honestly, here I would click. Look.
Intelligence
Look,
Authority.
I clicked. This is the website of the Financial Intelligence Authority of Uganda. Here is the picture. I took it from their website. 2020.
Oh my God.
December 4. It's only 2 weeks ago.
They are freezing money to some NGOs.
I mean, they don't have the tools to be intelligent. They really don't. I don't know if you noticed when Draman was giving the lecture, I closed his screen and I was writing something on this whiteboard.
Yes,
Do you remember?
that's right.
I did this from Israel. It was sitting in Ivory Coast. I would expect them to have a little better technology, especially, honestly, they're losing a lot of money. They could have collected much more and catch much more transactions. They don't have the tools to do it. Now, why do we need the young guys to now, let's go back to here. Why do we need people on the right side? Because this one will affect the whole country. Daniel with us? Daniel?
Another Daniel.
Yeah, the other Daniel. Is he with us?
Not sure.
Yeah. Charles? Charles with us?
Charles is there. Charles is there.
Yeah, I see them. They're all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how do we go about doing this one? Honestly, this is the reason I made Academy City. By the way, why I put this picture, if in the future I will give a lecture about what is money. People think they understand what money is. They understand when they get it in their hand, but they don't really know how the whole system works, how the banking system works, how the central bank works, how, you know, the mobile banking, everybody uses it now, especially in Uganda. But what does it really mean? How can I really be very creative in my town and even make a special program on how to utilize money better even in my own town? But the reason I put this picture here, it's not because I want to talk about the money. I want about to talk that how this lady, okay, even in the village, she has the ability to study technology if she wants. Is that right? If you just told her, you gave her the telephone, maybe she called, but she learning how to use money, how to transfer money. She has the ability to study. So the solution, and that's really the highlight of what I wanted to talk about today. I claim that this is the solution applicable and can be done. It's not like in the sky. In fact, we already have started the solution. You know, you start by financing education, but not just general education. You finance or you do microfinance for education on skills on the right side. Now, financing to somebody to study on the right side, there's different levels. All what you need is a spark. You give a spark to young generation, especially, and you have a lot of them in your country. You give them a spark. They can afford it, or then you split that kind of education to that they can get a job relatively fast. Within half a year, you can get a job. It's doable. I believe even this lady can do it, honestly. So you teach, you can have a microfinance to finance education for a specific type of skills which can immediately generate income for the student, for the person that's getting it. It's like here, you give a microfinance, it's not enough just to buy for him the sewing machines and all of that. You have to teach him how to sew. He has to learn which kind of design to make. Otherwise, nobody will go to him. Okay? Some things about the ladies, some things how to buy, which vendor to buy, from which suppliers to buy, to manage all her stuff. You have to teach her. It's not enough just to give her money. It's very well known in microfinance. You must complement the giving them the finance. It's also training them to do whatever they're supposed to do with the money. Here, there is no real merchandise. There is no inventory you have to handle. You just have to have the knowledge. And to get the knowledge, you can transfer it through the internet. So it's much cheaper in many ways to teach this right side, when you do it right, than even the left side. And the right side can generate much more money than the left side. So this must be the solution. So you give a microfinance, okay, let me even make it bigger. And what you really try to do is, let me make it bigger, then you can read. It's really when you finance education, you have to be really bright, you know? You have to be bright in the sense, not for every type of it. There's so many kinds. I can teach them music. That's what I will do later on, okay? But first things first, I teach them skills. Which kind of skills do I teach them? Now, there is this guy, he's from Harvard Business School. Very smart guy, I liked him a lot. First time I heard his lecture was 2009. And he gives speeches all over the world now. And I liked his idea. He says, teach the student those 7 skills. If you teach them those 7 skills, they will get a good job. And if focus on each one of them, I encourage you to watch his video. I'm not going to play it, it's about 25 minutes. But I will talk about a little bit the highlight of his lecture. But I really strongly recommend to go over it. You're looking for employee for your town. What do you usually do? Okay, I'm looking for employee in accounting. Okay, which school did you go to? Oh, I got that accounting degree. Oh, very good. Where did you work? I work in a place, I applied accounting. Good, you can get the job. That's more or less in a short way. But it's already good enough. Why? You really need employee, even if he's an accountant, he has to know a little much more because you can get a lot out of him, much out of him. Otherwise, you know, how much accounting you need? You know, it's useless. You know, the Toyota car company, when they train their employees, they train them to do at least 5 types of jobs. At least 5. You know, not only one type and then why? Because if something else needed for a different type, they send that person. He can do so many things. So I can move him around. It's so extremely important in that new generation. And now from my experience, a person younger than 20 years old, you can teach him anything you want. So if you focus on those 7 skills, let me talk about the first one. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like in the sky, like not clear. When you talk about critical thinking and problem solving, what can be the most annoying if you ask your secretary, can you please make me coffee? If she asks you, okay, how do I make coffee? If she doesn't know how to make coffee, you don't hire her. Is that right?
Yeah.
It would be easier to make my own coffee than teaching her. So you want an employee that will be able to solve problem. I gave us a really stupid example, a simple example. But if I have an accountant and I say, do the salary for all my employees and do it in such a way they have to pay, you know, for the vacation, for everything, and he doesn't know how to do it because he got some problem and he doesn't know how to solve it. And he's a very bad accountant. Right? You got a new system from the government. Let's say a new accounting software for your office to run the accounting or the reporting. And you say, okay, you are the accountant, it's true, but I want you now to use this system. He said, I don't really know anything. So you said to him, okay, go to the internet and solve it yourself. If he doesn't have that ability, he's useless. So being able to be critical thinking and problem solving, it's very important. I won't go over all of them. I would just say the third one, it's my favorite, which is not really that clear when you look at it the first time. Agility and adaptability. If I tell my employee, from now on, you're not doing accounting, you're going to deal with human resources, or you're going to deal with transportation in the town. And if he doesn't have that ability to change, he's useless. Now, by the way, this is not my writing, it's this guy from Harvard Business School. Now, if you really want, you want to be able to get to hire people to be able to change. Ability to change is very hard. Most of the people don't have this ability, but we have to teach them to be able to be like that. Here, Michael did something on the website, okay? And he didn't do it right. So instead of me going and just showing him what I did, I made an example. Now, how do I teach Michael to be able to change, to adapt, to think, to solve problems? I send him to go and solve it by himself. And that's the way he open and develop his own skills. Tomorrow, if you hire him, you know you have somebody that can solve problems. I won't go over all of them, and I know that some of you have a meeting soon. Am I right, Charles? I think Charles have another meeting at 7. Maybe you already have left. So I will stop here, and I can, you know, I intentionally left. This is a lecture, type of a lecture I used to teach in microfinance. I put it there if you really want guys to look at that, you're more than welcome, okay? But in my opinion, it's not really enough today for the new life. New life I put in the top, and that's why I kind of focused on what I think microfinance should be. Microfinance is really for the stuff that I talked. It's let's invest in a smart education. If I want to summarize, let's invest in a smart education. So our student will be able to do much better than this picture, to be able to do the right way, the right side and not the left side. And within 5 to 10 years, we can see big results. You know, if I want really to summarize, I intentionally avoided talking about the conventional microfinance, but I did put the lectures. If you ever want to see type of lectures that I used to do. Okay? Or questions, I know that you're running to another meeting, so. Anybody? Ambrose, how are you?
Hello. Good evening.
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing very good. By the way, I got your message, and my CFO will send you the receipt. So.
Yes, I got it.
You got it? Very good. I'm happy.
Ambrose, you are too early for the next lecture.
Very good.
I've been around.
Yeah. So what do you see? You want to summarize? What do you say? What do you think? What do you think about those 3 nice kids? I call them kids. They are younger than my children. How do we invest in them? David.
Yes.
How about if I send 2 kids of those to you, Lira?
For internship, for what?
For internship. Let's say for internship, yes.
Yeah, why not after Christmas? Let's talk about it. There's no problem. I want brain. I'm okay to add value and brightness to my team.
But say that what I would like is, I don't want you to give them free lunch. I don't want them to waste your time.
Of course.
I want them to be useful. So if they are not useful, I'm not going to send them. And
No,
from
we
your
will
point
fix
of view, no, you know, you can be a nice guy. You say, I'm a nice guy. Let them get some experience. That's nice. You're being a nice person. No. I don't want you to be a nice person. I want you to get something out of them. That's why you want them to come.
Yeah.
You want them to be able to do something, not to waste your time, but to do something with the skills and you say, okay, I need someone to come. Let's say I'm agreeing, it will come for a week. Then you can work from distance through the computers and will teach them the skills, and it will be useful. So it will justify your time.
Yes, I agree. We'll engage them and we see what we can do together.
How about we think about it, then we can talk about it. And
Sure.
that's, I think, the
After
direction
Christmas.
it's supposed to be. The criteria, here I'm telling them too.
Can talk about
Brenda, he is not supposed to make you a favor, but you should give him, okay, what he needs. So if he needs something, you're going to work really hard. So he will say, well, okay, you are a student, but you must produce. If you don't produce, don't waste my time. And he will be right, absolutely right. He's a very busy man. He has so much to do. And the only way will be agreeing to, and Daniel, do you agree with me?
Yeah, it's quite busy, man.
Yes, I do.
That's really what I would love to see happening. But you know that they can go into the county to Mangasa, Charles, whatever, and send those kids, but I want them to be useful. The step by step will learn something you need, and they will work on it. You say, wow, I got something out of those kids. They will get some experience. But it's not just an internship. I saw so many types of internships. Honestly, use waste of time of the employee and the employer, and it's end up with nothing. But this one, I'm demanding that they will be useful. If they are not useful, you send them home right away.
Yeah, very much.
So we can talk about it. We'll have another meeting without them. We talk about it without them. They got the message. Is that right, Michael? You got the message?
Yes.
Charlie, you mute your thing.
Okay. I think I will let you go because I think you asked. I'm more than happy to sit here as much as, if you don't have a meeting, I'm here to talk. But I think Brenda, Michael, you can go to your studying and I will talk to David and Daniel. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, next team training is on Tuesday or what?
Next one is Tuesday. We just did one time on Thursday. In fact, the next one is the last one before I'm summarizing everything. And then we decide how do we go about next. I would love to see. Take care, George and Michael and Daniel. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. But no, Daniel, stay with us. I talked about the other Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, Ambrose, I would like, buy a opium. Take care.
You want to buy them opium?
Yeah, why don't we, you guys? Yeah, Brenda, you can close with it. I'm just going to continue with them. Thank you, guys. Thank you, George. Okay, wonderful. So we have, what do you think about the plan, Daniel? Ambrose or David, tell me, what do you think? I want to see something happening. Not just we can study all our life, but we need to put food on the table of a lot of people.
Exactly.
Talks is good, lectures is good, but how do we go and actually make them useful for you?
What have they studied? What are their specialty?
I tell you, I started with them, they just finished. I'm teaching them 3 certificates. First,
they have finished what?
Okay, my plan is like that. They finish certificate 1 in computer science. Honestly, it's like 3 or 4 courses at the university. They're going to have 2 more certificates. When they finish, take about half a year from now, it will be a really good computer people. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to make them study some finance, some accounting, okay, some management in addition. So within a year, I want to turn them to be really useful to so many things. If we can train them to be good for you, we can develop some programs on that directions. If you look at my website, you know, as I said, I'm an economist, I'm an accountant, I'm a finance person. And, you know, all that stuff we can teach them to be useful for you. Moreover, we can even train the people you already have. You don't have to, you know, to have those kids. But those kids can inspire the other ones with their knowledge.
Exactly.
You know, if your person see some young guy, 20 years old, coming to the office and he can do his job much better than him, he immediately go and study. Otherwise, you will get scared. Am I right, Daniel?
True.
You're right.
What do you say, Ambrose? How would you go about it?
Look, let's see what happens. You know, let's see what happens after Christmas. We are going for a big holiday. After that, look, I don't know who's smartest. May I need somebody to help inculcate some skills in others.
You know, you can even tell me what skills you need, and I will develop the program for it.
Yeah.
You know, because,
Yeah.
you know, running your business, I work with it so much, most of my life. You know, I've been consultant to too many cities and too many places. So you tell me the skills that you're looking, guys, and we develop a special program for it.
Yeah.
And
That's
honestly,
really
I
good.
wanted to do some lectures after we finish to train you guys. I'm getting old, but all of us, we're getting old.
Of course. Of
But
course.
basic things that you would like to know as a town clerk. You know, you don't need to, you know, when I need to, that my computer doesn't behave nicely, I call my son. I let him play with it. But when I have to make a decision, okay, I make it myself. So I know how to
Exactly.
make a decision using some softwares. So I don't need to teach you how to operate the computer. That's not the issue. It's really how do you, which kind of report can be done for you. And I'm sure you already have something from the government, some system that you have. But we can, I think some training for you has nothing to do with anything else, could be really useful. If we turn it to a club, it would be really nice. We can do it on a monthly basis, every 2 weeks or something like that, and not twice a week. Now that we're getting close to the end of the training.
Yeah.
I think that the objective that I had in my mind is to bring topics, some of which you know better than even the lecturer, some of which they are new, like I introduced crop insurance. It looked like crazy idea the first time you hear it, okay? When you explore in the world, it's really common. Can we do it in Uganda? I have no idea. Hopefully I will be there early next year after the election, and I might look into it or get some more ideas that I might implement, okay? But what beautiful we have, that's one of the reasons I got also money, because in the Brahman, I'm developing several programs in Ivory Coast. And we can have such a beautiful system with Academy City that can be useful. I just need to hear from you guys. What is the best that can help you the best?
There could be a number of topics. There could be a number of interventions with the town clerks, high level, the critical thinking. I think a topic on critical thinking is also very good. We need to be thinking beyond, because today's challenges are too enormous. There are too many. How do we critically think to manage the too many challenges that are presented on our tables every day? That is also another area that requires a lot of intervention and a lot of discussion on skills. So that's another place. That's another area.
Yeah.
Global, because we are all now intertwined. There's too much. The west, the east, the north, the east, whatever. So a lot of information to take in. So as managers, we need to do a lot of thinking. It's critical strategic thinking. How to handle all this traffic. Doctor, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm very tuned on listening to you.
Yeah, so look, this training has really opened quite a number of areas of intervention, areas of discussion. Certainly, they're not going to remain the same. So further interaction is very, very important. I agree with the doctor. We don't want to rust. We need to continue engaging in some thinking. But what we want to do, I think we need to give you the localized environment, issues of discussion, issues where we could want you to look through and we see how we can navigate them. Looking at the global world, then we try to fuse into how do we relate in taking decisions locally. I think it will be very important because there's nothing new. Many things have been done before. Scholars have studied a lot of issues. I think what we need is that exposure to appreciate how people have navigated through all these kind of challenges, if you may, that in management, and that will be another beautiful interaction.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Ambrose, you want to say something?
Are people left?
Yeah, I think it's a.
No, we are listening.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Dr.
been a hard
Kapil?
day. So someone having a nap, some are tired. It's been hectic, it's tough.
No, but it really required, I think, David, it's absolutely true. It's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of forces also, but the sky is the limit. I think when you start with a small seed, I really like those kids. By the way, yesterday I gave them exam. Honestly, they were better than in the David.
They were better
than the student I have here in Israel in the university.
Oh, that's great.
I'll be honest with you.
That's good.
And it's, if we can turn that around, they will be doing everything you ask them. They have so much desire to study and to do something. They want to get out of the situation they are in. They don't want to be poor. And they are right. And on the other hand, it's an opportunity for the towns to take advantage of it, not in the bad sense, in the good sense, to get a better educated and capable and capacity, that you get a smart people around you to help you. Nobody can replace you because you have so much experience. You have so much knowledge. It's true, they can type faster on the computer, but you know what needs to be typed better than anybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
Doctor, how did you identify the kid?
In fact, it's really, I screened them out. Coming to me, and I said, you are okay and you are not okay.
I mean, are they paying school fees or are giving them free lunch?
Yeah, so what I did is I really opened like a little school. There are about 9 students over there. Left, I screened them out and they're really good. I would say at least 5 of them are really, really good. If I want to, as I said before, I want to compare them to my student here in Israel, in the university, they will be in the top of the class.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is
That's
very
great.
encouraging that you can find those kids and then go and train them relatively. It's inexpensive. We did everything online. I never met them. Moreover, we can turn them to teach others, which reduce the cost even more. We recorded all the lectures. I have all the lectures recorded, and they're helping each other. They're studying as a group. I make them come to, I made like a little school like that, and they're coming every day. The guy, George, which I know for over 10 years from Uganda, is managing them. He's not an academic person.
Okay.
And that's really like a little seed, just what we call in business proof of concept. Can it work? The answer is yes. How do we turn it for advantage for you guys? That's now we need to discuss. You can think about it. We can have a meeting after, anytime. Think about it. Talk about among yourself as well.
We will share with among ourselves, see what happens. I think we just need to know their competencies such that we know, because of any chance to engage them, we know where to engage them. We need to know what they have gone through, what they are good at, so that immediately we think about that, we can see how do we bring them in, how, where, on what level, in terms of their skills and competence. That will help us. So we need to, I think there must be an engagement. You need to tell us who's who and what they have done, maybe themselves also, so that we know how we can blend in. Yeah.
Excellent.
David, don't you think we may have to identify our unique problem, which cuts across, and then we engage them?
But you first have to know what they can offer. What are they good at? Then you fit.
You know what I'm saying? I think doctor has a range of, a basket of skill sets from where he can pick after we have really identified the problem, which probably is in Lira, which is in Arua, which could also be in Entebbe, and then he will be able to point out that for this kind of challenge, then you need this kind of person, and this could be the right person to carry the process forward. Otherwise, if you did it the other way around, it's like you are starting from zero. Someone coming to the entity is going to do a problem analysis, then try to move from that point. I think in a group, for instance, if we say that our challenge is how to follow up on our data or how to raise our revenue base, then they can develop for us maybe a software which can help us to mitigate such a challenge. I'm just thinking aloud.
Okay.
But we could develop a prototype kind of solution which can be customized to every other entity if we have zeroed on the problem ourselves. Then we look for the solution.
Yeah.
That's a
All
good
right.
point. I tell you, from my point of view, Ambrose, that my view, because of all the experience I have seen in my life, today, a new student, a new employee must have very good knowledge in computers, in programming. On top of it, he needs to know how to solve the problem you need to solve in your office. So it comes with a basic, like you need to know how to read and write, it's obvious. He needs to know computer science in an advanced level. And then on top of it, we will build all the knowledge he has to do to solve your problems. Because then we make it sufficient.
Yeah. All right, doctor. I think
we will break and we talk about it, think about it. I would love to see, I know that there are over 40 town clerks in Uganda. If that will turn to a nice club, honestly, it will be such a blessing to the country and a beautiful example to all Africa. That's my opinion, honestly. I love Africa. I love Uganda specifically. I don't know why. It's like when you fall in love with a woman and you don't know why. Okay.
I think that's fantastic. So we will not. We also have to really, doctor. Some of us who saw you earlier, we are captivated by your knowledge, and I think my colleagues who have shared your insights, I can testify to it. Your level of interaction, level of discussion, and level of knowledge of global issues. We can only say this time we are more excited because we have had more of you in terms of interaction and knowledge sharing. I think for me, this was not a loss for us because we saw you in your own backyard in Israel, and what you gave us was fantastic, I remember. And at one time I was in Zambia, Livingstone City. I had to use your technique. I put that song on. What a wonderful world. And I saw the audience enlightened. Wow, it's a beautiful strategy. And I can tell you, when you begin with the song, you captivate the minds, everybody comes down.
Exactly.
So look, we are learning a lot from you in our own ways. You can't believe.
Because
So I can only tell you,
beautiful, can be really beautiful. It's all in our hand.
this is so beautiful.
All in our hand.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We'll break and we talk next week. Thank you, guys. Really, thank you. I really enjoy every minute.
Thank you so much, and God bless. Thank you.
We'll talk next week.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ambrose.
Thank you.
Everybody, Mangasa.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Doctor,
Yeah, I'm
a
here.
minute. Just a small request.
Sure.
I know you are about to end the lecture. Could you please make for us some 30-minute presentation about your country?
You know what? I will prepare it for Tuesday.
Yes.
I will.
I want to know more about Israel. I don't know.
I will make 30 minutes. I will make a presentation and I will give it on Tuesday. How about that?
Where you are coming from and where you want to go and what makes you different.
Excellent. I'll tell you a lot of other even behind the scene. People don't usually see.
Well, the Israel people are very unique.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will. I definitely will. Thank you very much.
All right. I'll be looking
Shalom, shalom, Doc.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Have a good one, Empress.